Ethiopia is so important to everybody who works in coffee. This is where it was discovered. This is where it was first turned into actually brown liquid. There's definitely a great degree of government control here. In general, you should stop with guys with guns. All of this will be traded down in the ECX pit. It's just like all this coffee's faceless. I mean, there's exceptions. You just gotta find them. And I'm gonna find mine. This is Adam, Eve, and the Garden of Eden. I think we have a human being. Hello?
I'm Todd Carmichael, and I risk it all.
Oh, that's beautiful.
For coffee. Think oil is big money? Your daily cup of joe is a $60 billion a year industry. The only problem, the best stuff grows in some of the planet's most dangerous places.
Look at this.
So for my business, that's where I go.
I found you, baby.
This time, Ethiopia.
I'm in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia in Eastern Africa. My mission is to find the most unique, extraordinary coffee I can in Ethiopia, the motherland of coffee, the source of it all.
Ethiopia is where coffee was first discovered in 1000 AD, and today it's this country's #1 crop. Half of the population works directly or indirectly with coffee. It's big business, but hunting down a unique coffee on your own is damn near impossible. Thanks to the agency controlling the lion's share of all coffee here, the Ethiopian Commodity Exchange.
The ECX, where the bulk and majority of all coffee is exchanged in Ethiopia, controlled by the government. See if we can get inside, figure out how it works, and see if we can't find a tip.
The rumor is the ECX takes an entire region's coffee and blends it all together, making it homogenized and generic. Not what I'm into.
Man, I feel like I'm going into Wall Street here. The ECX.
As always, I want to cut out the middleman and find remote, off-the-grid farms to score a single-sourced, pure bean. So why am I walking right into the place I'm trying to go around? To steal a lead.
Oh my God, look at that. The green, the sellers, the khaki, the buyers, and a really confused guy is wearing blue. What I do know is when they high five, if you get a high five, then you got a deal. Right now, I could be in Tokyo, and I hit a mouse, someone comes out on this floor and buys me 375,000 pounds of coffee. Coffee in my world has always been traded, you know, hand to hand. You shake the hands of a farmer. I don't see anyone here dressed like a farmer. There's definitely a great degree of government control here. The government doesn't smile upon trading directly, so going around it is never a wise idea. If you do it, better do it right. Come on, come on. I'm just gonna go talk to these guys.
My leads never come from Wall Street type boards. They come from coffee people.
Do you speak English?
These traders live and breathe coffee. They may be able to point me towards the undiscovered.
Sometimes from here.
The coffee forest and tribal coffee?
It's very dry down here, huh?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I'm a Siganado. Talk about getting the inside scoop, right? I gotta make a decision on which direction to drive. The sellers all said two things that I found extraordinarily interesting. They said, tribal coffee down south, and all of their fingers moved up and said, forest coffee. It's in Kaffa. That's the area that coffee originally comes from. But in this map, there's a black hole right here, the Omo Valley. These are isolated tribes that are known for their agricultural skills, but no one is coming with any coffee out of there. Is it kind of the secret coffee of Ethiopia? None of it has ever hit the international market. None of it has ever been through ECX. None of it has ever been traded directly. So we head south from Addis Ababa. Going south brings me to the Omo Valley, to those tribes. You ready to rock and roll?
Ready, man. Let's do it.
I'm ready to, baby. Ethiopia is known for some of the most dangerous roads in the world. hardly any kind of traffic signs or signals anywhere.
Ethiopia has the highest rate of fatalities per vehicle in the world. There just aren't any rules. I mean, drinking and driving is not even illegal. Head-on collisions happen all the time.
Holy mother, look at this. Looks like a fresh accident. That's what I'm talking about.
And you definitely do not want to draw any attention to yourself and get pulled over.
I mean, things can go all different ways. I mean, you can be pulled over and it's a nice police officer, or next thing you know, you're sitting in a prison cell and you don't know why. And that's the kind of guy we don't want to run into. Just never take your eyes off the road. I mean, my God, I've almost run over about 5 different animals. You have to stay way alert. Ethiopia is so important to everybody who works in coffee. You know, it's like coffee here is like wine in France. You know, and I have allegiances with this country that are in my private life. My children are actually from here. So I want to bring something back that's just phenomenal, that's just explosive, you know? It's super important to me to nail this one. And all that just giving me some anxiety, man. What if I can't find it? I want them to be proud of their dad. Ethiopia runs on a different calendar with 13 months to it. Today is the 5th day in that 13th month, and that month goes to a close, meaning that tonight is New Year's Eve. It gives us access to a lot of people in one space, and they'll be in a great mood, a little liquored up, and willing to share some of their secrets about where to find the best coffees in the Omo Valley.
So we'll stop to search for those New Year's celebrations in the city of Wassa.
We're here, Wassa. So let's put this thing in park and go take a walkabout. All right, man. The mission is this. Parties are going on all over the city. They're marked by big bonfires right in the middle of the road. Basically, we're on a hunt for a party. Good place to meet people and ask questions. Yeah! There you go. That's our party, man. I'm not kissing you at midnight, though, bro. I'm telling you.
No problem.
You want to dance? No, I don't want to see you dance.
I kind of want to see you dance. There
No,
you
it's
go.
not happening. It's not happening. The energy here is just palpable, man. I'm just gonna find 1 or 2 people maybe to talk to, point out a couple things on my map.
Because coffee is their heritage, Ethiopians can rattle off favorite coffees from almost every region. I want to hear what people have to say about the Omo Valley.
I'm looking for different great coffees in Ethiopia. You know, a brand new coffee that Americans might not have had. Yeah.
I look Conso's coffee.
Okay, I don't mean to jump all over you like this, but I have a map here.
We have a coffee, also good culture of Ethiopia in Conso.
So coffee and culture.
Yes.
The two. Because I think this is where I want to go.
He points me towards Konzo, a tribal village in the Omo Valley.
Thank you, thank you. Happy New Year's, bro. It's a big day, Hollywood. It's the final stretch as we go south. Find that hidden coffee in Konzo. Now, the ECX, the law is pretty simple. If you're not a certain size, you cannot trade directly with someone from the outside, like me. There are some exceptions. The autonomous tribes, the Omo Valley, right? They have their own law. They're outside the ECX laws. Second, wild-grown coffee. If the coffee is picked wild in the forest, it can be traded directly. But those are the 2 things I'm looking for. There's a cop.
I think that cop's waving you down, dude.
Is he waving it? We're getting pulled over, man. Put the camera down, dude. Let's hope this is a nice one, man. Hello.
When you have a license?
Yes. Yeah. There we go. International driving permit.
This road is Only one way.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Yeah, I thought I couldn't see. There's no. This is a one-way this way.
Yeah.
So I go back.
300 Ethiopia birr.
Okay.
Spanish.
Oh, as a. Okay. Well, I pay you. I pay the. Do I get a ticket? Do I give you money or do I give someone else money? How do I pay for it?
Where do you go?
I'm going to Yirgacheffe.
Okay, it is this one. Go, buy the license.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Turn around. Thank you.
What just happened?
I thought he was shaking me down, dude.
Yeah, I did too. Guess the camera changed his mind.
I mean, it can go either way. You get a 300 birr fine, or the guy just lets you go, or next thing you know, you sit in a prison cell.
That caught me off guard, but it won't deter me from my mission to head south in search of an undiscovered coffee in Ethiopia.
We're just kind of breaking into the coffee area now. Along here, we should start seeing ECX warehouses. My competition is the ECX. I gotta do better than them. And they happen to run the land, you know? Look at that. See that big building? I bet you dimes for dollars that's an ECX building. See if they'll let us in. Salam. Can I look? Can I see? Yeah, come on. Thanks. Holy mother, look at that. This is impressive. Coffee just stacked to the rafters. Each one of these bags weighs 120 pounds. And all of this will be traded down in the ECX pit. What's insane is that the markings on the bag aren't clear. No region, no identity. It's just like all this coffee is faceless. I've got dates, like 2008. I've got dates of 2009, different years. That's a big no-no. There's absolutely no quality control here. And then every time I examine, this is the Ethiopian Commodity Exchange stock card, right? The origin and the type of coffee completely left out. And it's that way with all of these cards. It's like being in a library, but all the front pages and the covers of the books have been ripped off. The story is now lost.
It looks like the rumors are true. The ECX is watering down some of the best bean on the planet.
What they do is they take all the coffees from one region, they blend all together, and it becomes this homogeneous coffee from this big piece of land. You have absolutely no influence on the outcome of that coffee. Getting involved in that process from the berry on and influencing that like a chef, that's what makes that little difference where it pushes you over the edge and way out front. If I don't come back with something better than ECX Grade A, man, I'm not gonna survive for very long. That's why you gotta push the envelope. Next stop, one of the top 5 famous villages in all of coffee, Yirgacheffe. But the ECX pretty much controls all of Yirgacheffe. All right, man, here we go. The famous, the undisputed champion of specialty coffee, Yirgacheffe. Let's cruise through town. Look at cafe, got cafe, and Yirgacheffe. You can almost fall down and find a great coffee. We can pull over just about anywhere and just kind of dive in, and you're bound to find some bean. In fact, let me pull over here. Let's jump out and take a look at some of the most famous coffee in the world, all right? Look at the soil. Can you see how red and fertile it is? It just jumps out at you, great coffee. Look at all this, man. This is coffee plant, coffee plant, coffee plant. And I can tell you, we just drove off the side of the road, huh? That's how easy it is. I gotta tell you, man, I almost regret passing this up, because this would be a major haul. This is really some of the best coffee on the planet. But this Sadly enough, probably connected to the ECX. Any coffee guy worth his salt knows about Yirgacheffe. It's the easiest road.
I need to find something new.
I'm leaving Yirgacheffe behind, bro. And I just hope I'm not making a huge mistake. We're going to the tribes.
I'm in the Ethiopian town of Yirgacheffe, which is known as the home of some of the best coffee on the planet.
I almost regret passing this up, because this would be a major haul.
But I'm here to search for an unknown bean that isn't controlled by the government middleman known as the ECX. So I have to push south towards tribal coffee in a village called Konzo.
Driving past Yirgacheffe south, not a lot of guys do it. For me, it's unknown territory. As you head south, you see a radical change in the environment. And it's much hotter, much drier. Look at all those termites. See all those spires that come up? Want to rest your legs, bro? Sure. Some of these termite spires can get about 15 feet high, all made by tiny little insects. They make it with secretions. Mix it with some of the soil and they just climb up. That's completely different from Yirgacheffe, huh? There are thorns, it's very arid. Grass can't even grow in the soil. I get the feeling like I'm in the Middle East somewhere. Any coffee guy in his right mind would stop and turn around and go home. We are not anywhere near coffee. I kind of think this has been kind of the chain link fence that stops people from going any further south. And keep in mind, that way is Kenya. That grows some outrageously good coffees. So you can't tell me there's not great coffee south. But when you see this, sure makes you feel like it, huh? Check this out, man. That poor camel lost his head. You see, there's camels all along through here. They use them as their beasts of burden. The young one there must have been crossing the road and bam, probably got hit at night. Attracted all these vultures, as well as a canine. They're treating that dog like he's a hyena. Now, there is hyena all the way through this area. At night, probably tonight, that thing's gonna be devoured and gone. Yeah, I don't see that every day. As we go south, it's starting to green up a little bit. You see all the microclimates and all the different pockets and all the possibilities for all the different types of coffee. Now, the race is on again. It's us against the sun. Dude, I'm just aching to make it down to Konzo. It's never wise to drive in Africa in the dark. All the animals and livestock on the road, right? At night, you can't see them. And you come barreling down the road and you plow into one. Not only are you gonna end up going through the windshield, but you're gonna have some serious explaining to do to somebody that might not be too thrilled that you just crushed his livestock. All the dangers are heightened.
To make matters worse, it's rocky dirt roads from here on out.
Christ, man, this is just not good. Made to call it quits. Let's just wait for the sun to rise. All right, here's the strategy, right? You just sleep under the truck, use a tarp, pull our bags out, roll underneath. Someone comes by, they see what's inside the truck. Worst case scenario, they rip us off, we're safe, right? Best case scenario, we have a place to run away, we're cool. So let's get the stuff ready and, did you hear that?
What the hell is that?
That is a male spotted hyena. Hear that moan? That moo. I mean, when a hyena eats an animal, it eats its hooves, it eats its teeth, its skull. The whole animal is consumed. And they do it while the animal's living. I'm telling you what, that is not a way to go. So we're sleeping inside. You good with that?
Those are my choices.
Your choices are no choice. I'm not gonna be eaten by a hyena, all right? It's gonna be a long night. Was that one of the longest nights ever? Oh, I could hear those hyena last night. Oh, I tell you, I could hear them out on this road. You want to see my kids?
Yeah.
I travel everywhere with them, especially Ethiopia. This is where they were born. I pulled 4 aces from the deck. See, now that gets me in a good mood. Forget the hyena, right? I don't think we have a really long drive, but it's a gnarly dirt road. It's gonna take us on the Konzo. Never been this far south. It really is, for coffee people, an unknown territory. I mean, they call these tribes out here the isolated tribes. And as I drive, I begin to understand why. We've had a major soil change. Yeah, that soil's gonna need some work. Yeah. You see over to my left here? Terrace farming. That's what I'm talking about. Avoid the thorns. Wanna come over?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Oh my God, good man, good man. I tell you what, just right away, you see this? You see how it's worked? It's almost aerated and deep. The intense amount of labor that goes into just a small plot like this is mind-boggling. This is in a culture. This is passed on from generation to generation, just like the stairs. One builds upon the next until you reach a plateau that gives you something like this. It's just one thing missing: coffee. That puts me in a great mood. Something tells me today we're gonna find at least some terrace farm coffee, man. And some serious, like, Omo tribal, off the radar coffee. Oh my God, check that out, man. I see a village, and I love that it's up on that rim, dude. That's a village on a mountain rim.
That is Konzo.
See, banana, man. That's perfect for coffee to grow under. Here, let's jump out. I tell you what, check this out. Does that look like a road to you?
Unfortunately, yes.
I see the banana. Banana screams coffee, you know? Now, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take that road. All right, we're hoofing it from here. Let's go. We're now in Konzo. And I tell you what, the feeling is like being in a garden. It's coffee all over here. The coffee first came here the year 1000. The coffee here is a lot different than any I've ever seen. You come here and you find Typica, which is the original coffee of Ethiopia. But that leaf is way different than anything I've ever seen. That does not match Typica. And the budding, and where the fruit is actually connecting. Any coffee geek right now would be losing the And it's not like in the year 2012 or 2013, you're just gonna discover a new variety of coffee. And I think we're that close. I'm gonna taste it, but I'm telling you, where the fruit is actually connecting to the branch is not Typica, it's not normal. The leaf formation is all wrong. The fact that they're not pruning it out, but they're coffee drinkers. If you don't prune it out, usually it means an inferior coffee. But it's a superior looking coffee. It's not making any sense. There's something different about that plant. I need to have a cup of this stuff. And maybe I can find a pile of dry. We'll bust it open and taste it. Salam. Hello. Around here?
Yeah.
Go on. Oh, you speak English?
Yeah.
Ah. Come. Got the man, he speaks some English. He's explaining to me that there's word has been passing around the village that I'm kicking through. And you have coffee too.
Yeah.
Ah, they love Conso coffee in Addis Ababa?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. And everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. You see this elongated bean, like this one? Right? That's the classic, quintessential Ethiopian coffee. And it's that elongated bean I'm looking for. I think we got something. Come on. My new friend tells me there's bags this way.
As a show of good faith, I'm going to buy a bag from these villagers so I can roast it later tonight.
And once I roast it up, I can tell you what it tastes like. Something tells me that's gonna taste wild. I gotta admit, first time I've ever roasted on a concrete bed in a hotel room. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Fragrance is nice. Smell's a huge part of taste. I think we're ready. Yeah, it's no good. It just won't work. I can see why they might like that in Addis. You know, you roast that really, really dark and it seems like really, really strong, but this just won't float. It won't float in America, dude. No, I blanked. I still got my truck, I still got my tongue, I still got my roaster, and I'm still in Ethiopia. So is the game over? No way is it over. There's nothing that's as motivating as a complete failure. It's time to face the music, huh? Konzo is a bust, and I got a choice to make. We can always head back up towards Yirgashev. Just kind of admitting failure. It's a sure thing. Or I can do this. What if we headed back all the way up to the northeast, right? In the Kaffa region. Kaffa, this is where coffee originally evolved. This is coffee's natural habitat. It's where 1,200 years ago in the city of Jima that the very first coffee was ever brewed. But in that forest, most likely coffee continues to live on its happy life, the original berry. That's exactly what I want to do. Go deep in the forest, pick the wild coffee, bring it back and process it. You know what? That settles it. Just saying it out loud made the decision for me. I say we go for it. I feel good about heading into Kaffa. Any decent coffee guy's been there many times before. But this time I'm looking for something completely different, wild coffee. There's an exception. The ECX rule for wild coffee. And I'm gonna exploit that exception.
The only problem? The Kaffa region is more than a full day's drive from Konzo. And I've already lost too much time following up the tribal lead.
It's like frustration, really. And then you start doing stupid things. Like pushing into the dark, you know?
But I gotta drive through the night so I can make it to Jima by morning.
You awake?
Barely.
Yeah, man, I got some good news for you. We're now in Jima. Jima is the capital of Kaffa. This is the place where it all began, man. This is the cradle of it all. Let's just jump out a second, man, okay? Sure. This is a classic Ethiopian Jima cafe. Want a coffee, homie?
Yeah, I'll take one.
All right, what do you want? Like a 20-ounce flavored latte, I bet, right? It's not happening here. It all comes in small cups. Your choice is sugar or no sugar. I'm not singing that. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that real hearty, thick flavor. That could be the defining character of all Kaffa region coffee. And I'm certainly grateful to Kaffa, because if it weren't for this region and it weren't for this beverage, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be doing what I love. Can you see this, Hollywood? Here we are, Jima. This whole area is Kaffa. Now, the way I see it, we're looking for altitude and we're looking for forest, the two together. That forest could be our ticket. We got the two combinations we're looking for. The highest coffee and the wildest coffee. Reinvigorated with oodles of caffeine, I'm ready to go hunting. You ready, Hollywood?
Ready.
Well, all along here are export agents.
Some work directly with the government.
Some are actually ECX themselves. In fact, right up here is an ECX depot. If I know Ethiopia well, and I know ECX well, as we cruise up on this thing, dude, they're not gonna like us. There's all that coffee in the back is just sitting out under these clouds. Man, it's mistreating the product. Check it out. It's gonna mold, baby, and it's gonna taste just like a wet sponge. He doesn't want us. You can't film the coffee? No, the Buna Ethiopia? Okay, you gotta go down. Pictures of coffee.
We gotta go.
Oh, just pictures of coffee.
Taking pictures.
What's that?
License?
Yes.
You have a license?
Yes, I do.
If you have a license, you have to enter and ask the manager.
Pictures of coffee. Ethiopian coffee, that's all, man.
Todd, just get out of here.
All right.
What the hell was that all about? What are they so upset about?
Just government control of the trade of coffee. And they just really, really get upset when you look too close into the details. Now, I'm telling you, I'm not in the mood to be spending any time in a local jail in any of these villages. So we're blowing by all this. Forget it. Too much bureaucracy, too much tension, too much government. We're going to the forest. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I really highly doubt it we're gonna find any coffee in the dark. But I think what I'd like to do is get as far into it as I can. Don't worry, we're gonna find it. This is a village. I didn't know this village was here. Let's just try to slide through town. In general, you should stop with guys with guns. I could run for it, but the dude's got a rifle, right? Salam. Salam, Chakabuna. The kafa, Chakabuna.
ساعات إدوار ساعات الفون عيوني.
Let me get out, dude. I'm gonna try to sweet talk him. Know the Chakabuna? I can.
ساعات
The kafa is finished.
The guard tells me if I proceed any further, I'll be arrested. So I gotta crash in town for now, and I'll be allowed to head up in the morning. With the morning sun comes a welcome sight.
Look at that.
The Kaffa forest, where coffee first came from.
Somewhere in that giant area, they're growing coffee, and we're gonna find it. That is so beautiful. You have no idea how that feels right now. We're trying to find a coffee that's an exception to the ECX rules, right? That's tough to do with a government that tries to control all coffee and how it's flowed. Getting close. If I can find a community that's exploiting the wild-grown coffee and it tastes good, I'm good by the ECX. We are literally rounding third base and heading for home. The biggest thing I have to do is decide where to stop, what part of the forest to go into. All right, just give it a quick look, all right? There's nothing in there, man. Oh, no. No canopy. Nothing. It's too thick and it's no good. gotta be here, man. It's gotta be here. Squat. You see these old trees up here? There's a break in the canopy, which could help. Let me jump out. I mean, look at this. See all these ancient trees here? I mean, that's telltale coffee. It gives kind of a broken light, right? Offering shade, but just enough light to really flourish, but not like darkness. I mean, coffee isn't a mushroom. What do you see there, bro?
Like some coffee.
Oh, dude, that is unbelievable. In about 3 weeks, it's just gonna explode into red. Just explode. Big, big, beautiful red beans. Plump. Look how deep this goes. See all this? This is all coffee. All of this. Do you realize how significant this is? Dude, it's my freaking gold mine. This coffee isn't ECX coffee. It's not coffee that's just blended with all of its neighbors. This is the original. Every coffee I've ever seen from the 80 coffee growing countries around the world, all that coffee came from right where I'm standing. This is Adam, Eve, and the Garden of Eden.
This is wild coffee, so let's hope it's being harvested, not just growing here like a weed.
I have to go find a path. Someone is going to be coming along that path to work the beans. Look at this. This is a man-made path, dude. See how that grass is trampled down? What sparked my eye was this. See how that's been cut off? That hasn't been broken off. That's been cut. You know what I think we do? I think we follow it. And guess what? I think we have a human being.
That has to be someone working the coffee. No one else would be this deep in the forest.
Salama! Hi. You speak English?
Yeah, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Is this coffee being harvested?
Yeah, yeah. We have around 21,000 hectares.
Holy! You have that, okay, 21,000 hectares of forest coffee.
Forest coffee, yeah.
That's miles of coffee.
The man tells me of a village which acts as the collection point. That's where I'll find out what this coffee really tastes like.
Hey, Hollywood, let me just tell you, man, we ran into the man. Lots of people around. Come on, let's go taste some coffee. Oh, so this is a, oh, it's a little shop. Oh, that's great. This is the moment we find out whether it all pays off. Behind me are collectors, people who go and collect coffee in the forest. There's a lot of pressure.
My last lead was supposed to be great, but turned out to be a bomb.
They don't know what to expect from wild coffee, you know?
I just can't afford another failure.
Here we go. Let me put it this way. We're gonna buy it all. You know, it's real thick, beautiful coffee. We're gonna just buy it all. Doing a perfect job. That is beautiful.
The collectors brew me up some more of this beautiful bean in a traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremony.
Oh, that's delicious.
As I negotiate a purchase, 100,000 pounds of Kappa's wild forest coffee.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything, my brother. Bye-bye. Ciao. We nailed it. Direct trade, Ethiopia, no ECX, wild grown coffee in the Garden of Eden. You know, at the beginning of it all. I'm a happy man. Hollywood, feel like a coffee, bro? It's so weird to see this guy in America, man. There you go, bro. Wild coffee from the forests of Kaffa. And this coffee's gonna face some of the toughest taste buds there is. These are Ethiopian coffee critics. Very young, but really sophisticated taste buds.
My family.
This is my oldest daughter, Yemi, Yordi, and Sela. All right, ladies, you ready? Taste, taste. Don't be afraid. Sela, you ready? Ah. Just,
I like it.
Awesome, baby. Here, take that to the table. Sela, don't spill that on the way to the table, okay? I want to make Mama coffee and I'll be right over. Here you go. And you guys have already killed all your coffees. My beautiful wife, this is Lauren, and my little guy, Beck. In Ethiopia, we began drinking coffee at a very young age, 3, 4 years old. So for us, drinking coffee is a traditional thing. But for Lauren, she's not quite there, but we're working on converting her, aren't we, girls?
If Beck likes it, I like it. Good?
Dada? I take that as a thumbs up, no? Mwah, yeah.
This is great. Let's teach our 1-year-old to drink coffee.